Thank you so much, Mike Selwyn. I appreciate UIP's work on this project, and to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to see this movie. I hope you get a lot out of it. And I don't know the protocol in recognizing distinguished guests, and with these lights I can't really see everyone who should be acknowledged in any case, but I do want to thank the distinguished guests who are here. Kim Beasley, the leader of the opposition party, is here. I appreciate that. Anthony Albanese, the opposition environment minister, and other distinguished guests. I have some personal friends as well who are here, and I'm grateful for you all taking the time. This movie is a labor of love for me. I have tried to tell the story that is contained in this movie for 30 years now, and I feel passionately about it. We face a planetary emergency. I know that phrase sounds shrill to many ears, but unfortunately it is accurate as a description of the reality we face. Australia is in many ways the nation with more at risk than any other, because you have climate extremes already, being in a low latitude and an island continent, and an advanced civilization ingeniously built in a land with the least moisture available of any of the inhabited continents. And of course, soil moisture is one of the qualities of a livable environment that is most at risk from global warming. Ocean-based storms also, as you know, become stronger, and Australia has seen some Category 5 cyclones this past year. Fire becomes much more common on every continent, and indeed since the 1960s, by each decade that's happened here. And the ocean environment, so critical to Australia, includes here one of the great natural treasures of the entire planet, the Great Barrier Reef, at risk because of the warming waters, and also because of the growing acidification of the ocean water worldwide. A phenomena that comes from the absorption every single day of 25 million tons of our created CO2 into the ocean waters, with an impact that comes first in the colder waters in the lower and higher latitudes, not until later in the tropics. But I'd like to close these opening comments by putting the emphasis not on the danger we face from this crisis, but also on the opportunity that we face. You perhaps know the cliche about the way the Chinese express the word crisis. In English, the single word conveys a sense of alarm, but in Chinese, it is often expressed with two symbols back to back. And the first, in isolation, means danger, but the second one means opportunity. And when you put the two together, the concept of crisis, as expressed in Chinese. And even though this crisis is by far the most dangerous we have ever faced, the only one that carries with it the risk of ending all human civilization if it's not checked, it also presents us with the greatest opportunity we've ever faced. Not only for our industries to become more efficient, to create more jobs and a better standard of living, better ways of living together. All of that is true. That's why the business community on every continent has been in front of governments in seeing the opportunity. In the United States, even though my country is the worst offender, many of our leading businesses have gotten out in front and are now meeting the mandates of the Kyoto Protocol on their own, because they find it a useful spur to adopt the more efficient practices that are helping them on the profit picture and in job creation. But the greatest opportunity of all presented by this crisis is that it gives us the chance to know something that few generations ever experience, and that is a shared moral purpose, compelling enough to lift us above our limitations and to give us a chance to put aside more of the bickering that we're just naturally vulnerable to as human beings, and to reach out as the greatest generation of Australians and Americans who won World War II became famous for not only winning that victory, but for gaining in the process a moral authority and a sense of vision that they hadn't had at the beginning of the war, but which they had in abundance when it was over. And that led them to establish the United Nations and the World Trading System and the structure of institutions that have helped to foster 50 years of relative peace and prosperity. Having that kind of vision and moral authority is one of the benefits that can come from successfully rising to meet this challenge. And generating the kind of forward momentum that will come from successfully meeting this challenge can help us to deal with other problems. Where my country is concerned, rather than sending so much money to the Persian Gulf for oil, some of which ends up funding the terrorists, declaring our independence from oil can help to create a brighter era. It's been said that the Stone Age didn't end with a shortage of stones, and the fossil fuel age will not end with a shortage of fossil fuels. But the future will begin when we decide to exercise the moral authority that we have as part of our potential as human beings. In any case, I hope you get a lot out of this. I'm deeply honored by your presence here. It's such a joy to come back to Sydney for a couple of days. I'm looking forward to returning a couple of months from now again and having more time for a series of meetings. But on this occasion, again, thank you so much for coming to see this movie, An Inconvenient Truth. Thank you.